An Airbnb horror story. Your The living room seemed unchanged, yet dread sank through her stomach like ice when she noticed the curtains she'd carefully shut were now parted, revealing the pitch-black forest pressing against the glass like an eager, sinister audience. Gasping softly, she rushed forward and closed them again, certain she'd locked them before. Her breathing grew shallow, pulse roaring in her ears. Returning to her bedroom, dread gripped her tighter. The bedside lamp she'd left burning was now extinguished, plunging the room into ominous darkness. Panicked, Sarah reached for her useless phone. Still no signal. Her isolation now felt terrifyingly absolute. Curling beneath her covers, she forced herself to calm, counting breaths until exhaustion claimed her again. When she next opened her eyes, it was to an icy chill that slithered across her skin, a feeling so real she jolted awake. Her breath caught in her throat as a whisper, faint but chillingly clear, breathed her name into the darkness. Sarah. She sat upright, heart hammering violently in her chest, eyes wide in the darkness. "Who's there?" she croaked, voice brittle and afraid. Silence. Summoning every ounce of courage, she stepped carefully out of bed, every nerve on edge. The room felt colder now, unnaturally cold. From the hallway she heard a faint creak, the sound of someone shifting weight. Gripping her phone like a talisman, she eased into the darkened corridor. Immediately, her breath froze. The attic door, which she'd never noticed, stood open, just slightly ajar, waiting for her. Sarah's mouth went dry. She approached slowly, driven by compulsion and dread. Trembling, she ascended the steep, creaking stairs, each step louder than the last. At the top, an ancient door sat partly open, revealing a narrow gap of suffocating darkness. She pushed it gently, her phone's weak light sweeping across the attic room. What she saw froze her blood instantly. Every wall was plastered with photographs, some faded with age, others fresh images of guests asleep in the very bed she'd slept in, unaware they'd been watched. Horrified, she saw hastily scrawled notes beside them, names, dates, twisted observations. "So peaceful," one read. Another chillingly stated, "Never alone." Her eyes settled upon the latest photograph, her own face unmistakably clear, eyes closed in vulnerable sleep, oblivious to the shadowy presence that loomed mere inches from her bedside. A quiet shuffle behind her made her skin crawl with sudden, crippling fear. Slowly, as if trapped in a nightmare, she turned to see a tall, shadowy figure blocking the attic doorway, its face hidden beneath a hood, head tilted slightly, regarding her in silence. Her entire body screamed danger. "Who are you?" Sarah stammered, backing away, voice shaking violently. The figure spoke, its tone gentle yet chillingly emotionless, carrying a disturbing sincerity. "Someone who has always been here. You're never truly alone here." Panic exploded through Sarah's veins. She lunged forward, crying out as she shoved past the figure. The sensation of cold fingers brushing her arm shot adrenaline through her body, nearly making her stumble. She flew down the attic stairs, heart threatening to burst from her chest, and threw herself out the cottage door. Barefoot, feet bleeding on sharp gravel and pine needles, Sarah scrambled desperately to her car. Her keys shook wildly in trembling hands. As the engine finally roared to life, she glanced toward the cottage porch. The dark figure stood calmly, motionless, watching her. It raised one pale hand in a twisted farewell gesture, still and mocking beneath the silent trees. She sped away in blind panic, only stopping when civilization appeared, bringing blessed phone reception. When she summoned the police to the cottage, nothing remained. No photos, no notes. Airbnb soon deleted the listing, as though it never existed. Yet Sarah couldn't erase the memory. Every night since, sleep had become torment. Shadows flickered behind her closed eyes. Whispers followed her. Cold chills lingered constantly at the edge of consciousness. Months passed, and the ordeal faded for everyone else, but not for Sarah. Wherever she went, a suffocating sense of being watched continued to follow her, gnawing at her sanity. Mirrors became enemies, dark rooms a nightmare. She felt eyes on her constantly, watching silently from shadows, always hidden but always there. One night, long after the cottage was gone from Airbnb's website and had faded into local legend, Sarah woke suddenly in her own bedroom, miles from the cursed woods. Her heart raced, breath hitched painfully in her chest as she turned slowly toward the darkness. Beside her bed, faintly illuminated by streetlights leaking through curtains, stood a familiar, haunting silhouette. A whisper, achingly gentle, yet menacingly clear, broke the silence once again. "I told you, you're never truly alone." And as Sarah screamed, a scream that shattered the quiet neighborhood around her, the shadow vanished, leaving only oppressive silence behind. But in her heart, she finally understood the truth. She would never, ever be truly alone again. That's it for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, thumbs up, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.